to can be done repeatedly. Let me give you an example. Used to ride my bicycle. So I think that was, oh, her bike. That was number 2. But you can ride a bike, stop. Ride a bike, stop. That can be done repeatedly. What about, what other one? Oh, sit down, number 5. Some people put no change for number 5. But you can sit down in this armchair, and then it happened on a Monday. And then, you know, you wake up, according to this, wake up, have dinner, and then go to bed. And then on Tuesday, do the same thing. And the same thing would be repeated. So that means it's just your habit, especially if you do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But what do we look at? We look at the word used to, and what is the verb right after it? That verb is the one that helps us decide, can this be repeated or not repeated? I like to add a little bit of information, practical information, like pragmatics. Pragmatics means when we use this. But first, I just want to make sure, before I add details, do you understand first this information? If not, please tell me, and I'll explain better.
Yeah.
Yes?
Sit down. Is that state verb or?
Oh no, sit is not a stated verb.
Because I thought it's like wake up.
Wake up's not a stated verb. Did you say wake up? Maybe I didn't hear you correctly.
Yeah.
Wake up and sit down are not stated verbs. But either way, sit and wake are only going to be used in base. And stated is about progressive. So after used to, you always have base. Used to sit, used to wake. That's base, but it's not about progressive. Would is a modal. Modal plus base. Would sit, would wake. But it can't be would sitting, would waking, or used to sitting, used to waking. That's not what we're using here. But when you talk about stative verbs, Zainab, I know you're talking about, can this verb be used in progressive? That's the question when we talk about stative. But here, it's not even about stative or not stative. Some more questions?
The total of the quiz is 53.
Yeah.
I have questions in the last page.
Okay, I'll get to that in just a moment. I would like to tell you a practical way that we use this. I didn't find that this was all that helpful in understanding, but let me tell you how we use it. We use this for personal habits and routines. And it's about past, so these are past habits. Now you guys, a lot of times that's for telling stories. So that's how you would use it. And that's important to know, because when you are telling a story or writing a story, some things in your life happen repeatedly. Now, I want you to think about something in your life just for a moment, and think about childhood. Childhood is clearly past for all of us. Childhood, hood means that state. Child means that time of your life when you were a child. None of us are children. Now, there are times in our childhood where things were repeated, routines. Right now, you have repetition because you're going to school every day. But when you were a child, maybe that was the routine, go to school every day. But, for example, in my childhood, on the weekends, my mother would drive me to visit her parents. I was the youngest of 5 children, and I couldn't be left alone with my older brothers and sisters, because they were terrible. But my mom would take me to visit her parents on the weekends. So, to start this, I would say, every weekend my mom used to take me to visit her parents on the farm. She would drive, did you hear I switched? We start with you, Stu. She would drive about 30 minutes. They used to live on a farm, not would live, because it's not like they live, die, live, die, live, die. I can't do that. They just lived continuously. It was a state. So they would live, or I can't say would live, I say they used to live on a farm with animals. I used to walk around the whole farm, and I would see cows and fish and chickens, and of course they had a lot of animals like cats and dogs. My grandmother would fix me breakfast after I played outside for a while. She would fix means prepare. She would fix eggs sunny side up, toast, and hot chocolate every time I visited her. Okay, so you guys see how this works? A lot of times we use it to talk about our past. So when you want to tell a story about your past, this is a really typical way of doing it, because we know it was every weekend, and you can start the story with used to, and that way your reader will know it's past habit, because would is used in so many situations. You'll see it's used a lot. So we usually don't start with would, but you can follow up with would as long as it's about a habit, not like would live. Okay. All right, that's how we use it. Second page. I didn't include 7 and 8, although I have to say, I liked how Musab, I think it was Musab, he just used simple present, which wasn't part of the directions. I didn't like number 7 at the bottom, so I didn't count that, number 7. So that part I had to take off. But can you tell me the questions that you had? If I took off a half a point, it may be because the spelling, or maybe you didn't have subject-verb agreement. I can explain that. I can tell you the rules or why, how we know subject-verb agreement. But I can also explain about the aspect. All of it's present tense, but it is either, oh no, it's all past tense, I'm sorry. It's either simple past or past progressive. So please, you can tell me like number 1, second blank, or number 3, third blank, or first blank. Say it again one more time. Number 5, first blank. Number 5. Okay, a lot of you put was ringing. And how do we know the difference between was ringing and rang? Well, the difference between was ringing is it's continuous, but compared to rang, it talks about an incident that started and finished. So we think this is not continuous because it rang, she responded right away. How do we know that she responded and it didn't happen continuously? Context. Let's look at it together. In the middle of the party, the phone rang. It sounds like, okay, this happened, and as a result, I went to, I'm sorry, I had to leave the children alone for a moment. Ding-a-ling-a-ling, that's how we make the sound of phone. Ding-a-ling-a-ling. Is that how you guys do it? Ding-a-ling-a-ling. How do you guys do phone? Okay, we say ding-a-ling-a-ling, ding-a-ling. Yeah, that's another way too. So, phone rings. At that moment, she hears the phone and she leaves. But she does not ignore it. If she ignored, say, I don't care, I hear it, but I don't care. That would be ignore. If she ignored the phone, it would continue to ring. But she responds right away. I know she responds because she says, it rang, so I left the children. I had to leave the children. So she responded immediately. It wasn't continuously. That was number 5, first blank. What other ones did you miss? Anybody?
3.
Number 3, which blank? Are all of them?
Oh.
Okay. Number 3, last Monday, so we know it's past, and the word while tells us simultaneous, right? We know it's simultaneous because while can mean at the same time. So you're always going to have continuous unless it's a stated verb like be. So you can say, while I was in class. I don't have to say while I was being. Okay? So while we were, and we would do got it. Enrique got it, I think, right away. And but some people did, some people didn't. But we would say it this way: while we were in our living room watching. Yeah. Normally we don't put something before your main verb unless it's an adverb of frequency. We could say we were always doing. You can do that. But if you tell location, a preposition like in or at, you can use that before your main verb. It means at that moment. I was in my bedroom sleeping. I was in the kitchen preparing, fixing. Okay, so we were in the living room watching an exciting game on television. The electricity went out. Now the went means it's an interruption. Interruption means first we were watching and then this stops. Because when the electricity goes off, you can't watch your TV anymore. So this interrupts. Interrupts means it happens second, but the other one was happening first. Okay, we went out. So the electricity went out. So we went outside. Now this is just order. Let me show you on the board. Let's think about the time. Let's just say last night it was like 7, from 7 o'clock, and we're doing this. We're watching all this time, and let's say about 7:42, the electricity went out. Electricity went. So this is at 7:42. Let's say this is, I use this to show it interrupted, that action. And then at 7:43, yeah, we went outside. And then it just becomes sequence. And like this, so we just have to think, the electricity went out. That's a finished action. So we went outside. Now, I'm outside. We went outside. This is also a finished action. And not even, say 7:43 and maybe 10 seconds, I don't know. And then we got in the car, also finished. So we went outside, now we're outside. We don't have to continue it. And then after that, after we went outside, now we're out, we got in the car. That's also a finished action. But this one happened after this. So it's simple past, simple past. We're just following order. And we went outside and then we got in the car. After we got in the car at 7:45, we're all situated, we turned. So we got in the car and now we're in the car and we turn on the radio, And then finally, and the word and shows it's the last. Listen, and this is like from 7:45 till 8:40, the end. And then we listen. And all of this is like, this was happening, and then this went out. So this, and then this, and then this, and then this. And all of this is last night, but this was in progress when this happened. Okay. The next day is still past. The car battery was dead. Questions about number 3? Okay. Please tell me your other questions. What else on this page did you miss? Okay, let's go to the last page. This is a harder page because it's past perfect.
Yeah, 2 and 3.
2 and 3, I heard 2 and 3. Number 2, last night. Okay.
The second sentence.
Okay.
Until that time, I put, I've never eaten